Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com, and this is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, December 12th through December 14th. Also, it'll be your stocks to watch list will be in this video also. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the action that came about last week and some of the notes that I jotted down for myself. So the stock markets closed lower on Friday. They erased the gains of last week. We're back down to red for 2018. Financials and industrials led the decline. The Dow Jones closed minus 559 points. S&P 500 down 63 points on Friday. NASDAQ minus 219 points for Friday. Um, Things I'm hearing out there that we need to be concerned about, hedge funds are being forced to sell because of redemption, so that could weigh more on the market action to the downside. Some other things that transpired last week. Bitcoin, no ETF this year. SEC says no. They can try again next year, but Congress seeks crypto rules. So the SEC sees delays, the SEC sees delays in the decision. Um, Market breadth was notably weaker this week. Stocks look weak. Cautious outlook here for the markets, I would say, and we'll go through some of the charts. We do have there's a what's called the death cross formed on the S&P 500. So don't get all nervous about the death cross. Basically, what it means is the 50 SMA is crossing over the 200 SMA on the daily chart. But we could see more selling ahead on that. But that is the pattern. It's called the death cross when the S&P 500 and other markets. You have the IWM doing the same thing, and the S&P 500 now going into that 50 crossing the 200 SMA. So that's some of the notes that I wrote down for myself for the week that passed. Let's go ahead and look at some of the markets. The OIH down almost 9% for the week. The IYT, which is the transports, down 7% for the week. We had the solar stocks, which were strong. TAN is the ETF for the solar stocks. That was down 6%. We had the SMH down 5%. The IWM for the week was down 5%. The NASDAQ down 4%. The S&P 500, we were down 4% on the S&P 500. And the Dow was down for the week, almost 4% for the week on the Dow Jones 30. The IBB was down close to 4%. The FXI was also down 2% for the week. To the upside, all the wrong things were up. We had volatility up 23.63%. Gold defensive area, Nugget was up 16%. JNUG was up 13%. Oil itself did have a better week this week. We were up a little over 2.25% on light sweet crude oil. Silver was up 2.23%. The USO, the ETF for oil, was up 2.21%. GLD was up 2.03% for the week on the gold index there. So there was some movement up, but basically in the wrong things, not the things you want to see moving up. As far as some of the SPY sector performance, once again here you have the defensive areas that are moving up. The utilities moved up 3%, and the REITs, sector, the real estate sector, up 1.28%. To the downside here, you had retail ETF down over 6% for the week. The XLF, the banks let us down over 6% on the XLF. The airlines were down 6%. XLI for the week. The industrials were down over 5%. The XOP exploration down 5.20%. XLB down 5% also. And you can see here everything else was down 3 to 2% on the S&P sector performance here. As far as the Dow 30 stocks for the week, to the upside, basically another defensive name, and for the week up fractionally was Coca-Cola. On the downside, worst stock was a bank, Goldman Sachs, took a big hit, down almost 7% for the week. Apple was down 6%. JP Morgan, another bank, down 6%. Boeing dropped over 5% this week. Caterpillar, same thing. And as you can see, as we move this down, everything was down pretty much 3-4%. And then we get down to another defensive name like Procter and Gamble and J&J. They were down fractionally, but the only stock up was Coca-Cola in the Dow. As far as some of the stocks that I keep on my watch here, to the upside, you had Crone up 43%. Altria Group taking a stake in CRO 20%. Restoration Hardware was up 20% for the week after their earnings came out. Tesla had a good week, up about 5%. Twitter had a very nice week, almost up 5% for the week. Under Armour was up 1.47% for the week. Out of the stocks that I watch, there was just a few that were up. As far as stocks that were down, China name Momo, Square took a hit. LTHM, a lithium battery play, down almost 12% for the week. ATVI, a gaming stock, down 10% for the week. AMD took a hit of 9% this week. TTWO took a hit of 8%. Netflix down 8%. And then most of the airlines took a hit this week. Nvidia was down 6% for the week. Amgen down over 5% for the week. So that's some of the stocks that took a hit this week. Let's go ahead and look at the VIX itself. As far as the VIX, we gained some percentages this week as a little more fear came into the market. We're not getting that big fearful move yet. We're not even, let's see, we closed at 23.23. We're still under that 25, still under the 30. You can see back here in February when we were selling off February of 2018, we got a big move up to that 50 level. We're not even close to that yet as far as fear coming into the market. Here's a daily chart of the SPY, and as you can see, we remain under the 200 SMA, and here's that death cross that I was talking about, the blue line, the 50 SMA, crossing below the 200 SMA on the daily chart for the SPY. It's not the end-all and be-all of indicators. It's just showing that there is further weakness in this market as we remain below the 200 and the 50 SMA now. Now, the bulls need this 260 area to hold this week coming up. 260 around that area. We had the low back in October on October 29th was at 259.85 on October 29th. So if we start breaking the October lows, like I've been saying on the videos, maybe we'll go down and test the April or February lows, areas that could possibly be hit. So we'll see. If we look at the SPX 500 on the weekly chart, you can see here we're kind of in this bear flag, trying to hold up above the 100 SMA. We're still in this 10% corrective zone area on the SPX 500. 20% comes in at around 23.36 for the S&P 500. So that would take us down to about the 200 SMA on the weekly chart for the SPY. All right, but right now we're kind of that 260, 2600 area is a very important area for the SPY. We are bear flagging. We're below the 10 SMA on the weekly chart, and that usually shows that institutions are losing interest in the market as we are below the 10 SMA and staying below the 10 SMA. But 2600, very important to the bulls for the week coming up. If we look at the IWM, which kind of was leading us down, we are breaking down below the lows here. This had let us down. So we broke down this 145 area, and once again, we do have this spot back here, back on the 9th of February. The low there was 142.50 for the IWM. As far as the Qs on the weekly chart, same thing, same pattern, breaking us down here. Not much follow through to the upside. The big selling that has been coming in on the Qs. If we look at it on the daily chart, you can see we have that 50 crossing the 200 SMA, and we bounced back up to about the 200 SMA, and then could not stay hold above it. They moved us back down. For the Qs, right now, I guess, the lows from Friday are very important, right? That 161 area. Then after that, we have a low from the 20th of November. The low was 157.13. So the most likely that's going to come into play. Back in February, when we were getting that hedge fund selling off back on February 9th, the low here was 150.13. So if we start breaking down below these levels, we could definitely come back down to at least the February lows here of 150.13. All right, so just a little brief information on the markets there. It doesn't look good for the Bulls right now. Bulls were getting their hopes up on that action not last week, but the week before. They were pushing us back up, and then now this failure. We still have the same things on the table: the issues with China, the issues with the hedge fund redemption, and also, a lot of talk now if the economy is going to be slowing down for 2019. Let's go ahead and look at some of the things we should prepare ourselves for the week ahead. This courtesy of the trade exchange. As far as economic information for Monday, basically the JOLTS number at 10 o'clock. And that's about it. And then on Tuesday, the 11th, we have the API crude oil numbers coming out at 4:30. We have the 8:30 number, the PPI coming out on Tuesday, the 11th. CPI, these are both inflation gauges. 8:30 CPI comes out on Wednesday. As far as Thursday, we have the nat gas report. Oh, I forgot to mention at 10:30 on Wednesday, we have the oil numbers coming out 10:30 on Wednesday. Then the nat gas numbers coming out on Thursday at 10:30. Friday, retail sales. We have industrial production, PMI. Information coming out, and business inventories at 10 o'clock on Friday. We do still have some earnings that are coming up for the week ahead. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. So we have a Stitch Fix, SFIX symbol there, American Eagle Outfitters, AEO symbol there. We'll be reporting Tuesday after the close. PVTL will be reporting earnings on Tuesday. It's a software company. Nothing really on Wednesday. Ciena, CIEN, is the symbol here for Thursday before the open. Costco, Adobe after the bell on Thursday. And that's pretty much it for the earnings. Slim pickings here. The bigger names coming up towards the end of the week for earnings. As far as some unusual call activity, once again, courtesy of the trade exchange, some unusual call activity that hit the tape on Friday. We had QD, ATVI, Zion, and Deere. To the put side, there it is, American Eagle Outfitters to the put side. Unusual put activity on that name on Friday. Now, as you know or may not know, the CFO was arrested for Howey and she was arrested in Canada. And then some reaction came out over the weekend, courtesy of the trade exchange. Let's see, China Foreign Minister says has summoned a Canadian ambassador to issue strong protest over the arrest of the executive of Huawei. And that's coming from Reuters. China Foreign Minister says arrest of our Huawei executive was extremely nasty. That coming from Reuters. Let's see. China Foreign Minister says strongly urges Canada to immediately release executive or there will be consequences. That coming from Reuters. Some other things I just wanted to point out, courtesy of the trade exchange. Friday, we did get some top insider purchases after hours, over 100K. This information came out. We had BBT, HIL, IOVA, APO, UAL, which is an airline, LPG, SJM, and PRTS. Unusual or insider purchases that were noted after hours on Friday. So that courtesy of the trade exchange. Some of your best stocks for the week that passed, AZEO, they had earnings that came out, and that stock jumped 5% for the week. Another stock that did very well on earnings, and we just spoke about it, was Restoration Hardware, RH, up almost 20% for the week after their earnings came out. Twitter had a very strong week. We actually, in the service, did a swing trade in Twitter, and so that stock was up 5% for the week. Zscaler, a software company, they had earnings come out. Stock was up 8% for the week. CRON, after that investment, 45% investment, 1.8 billion by Altria Group, a symbol MO there. CRON took off, up 43% for the week. NBEV was up this week. Stock was up 6% for the week. AETI had a good week this week, up 158% for the week. HDSN, they did their earnings release and the stock moved up 63% for the week on HDSN. Some gold names we're getting buying this week, up 5% on ABX, Barrick Gold. We had earnings come out from the old Smith & Wesson, AOBC. The stock was up 15% for the week. They gave good guidance in their forecasts ahead on AOBC, American Outdoor Brands. Tesla had a very strong week this week, up 5% considering the market. We had PAAS, a silver name, Pan American Silver, was up 7% for the week. SSRM also up about 2% for the week there. JNUG, an ETF for the junior gold miners, had a nice pop this week, up 13% for the week. AU, a gold name, up 12% for the week. AEM also climbing this week, up 14%. GBT was up this week. Was up 33% for the week. The FDA will allow an accelerated approval for GBT. TSRO was acquired by GlaxoSmithKline. GSK is the symbol on the acquirer there. TSRO ended up the week 62% for the week. BHVN, this stock had positive results on its phase 3. The stock moved up 29% for the week. VNDA, phase 2 trial, met the primary endpoints and studies on VNDA, so this stock moved up 12% for the week. RVNC, two positive announcements came out from RVNC, so this stock was up 15% for the week. Some of your worst stocks for the week, and there were a lot more worst stocks than there were best stocks this week, but I'll only give you a few. Lulu came out with earnings. This stock dropped after their earnings report, and they lowered their guidance going forward. So this stock dropped 12%. AMD got hit by the market this week. Stock dropped 9% this week. Children's Place, PLCE, this stock came out with earnings. They lowered their forecasts going forward on Children's Place. Stock dropped 21% for the week. Nvidia had a bad week this week with the rest of the market down 6% on Nvidia. SQ also dropping down here 13% on Square. Ulta came out with earnings. They lowered their guidance. This stock dropped 15% after that earnings release. A lot of the airlines were down. UAL, DAL, AAL, Hawaiian Airlines took a hit, 21% down. JBLU on fears of the slowing economy. ALK was another airline that got hit. Even with oil down at these lows, the airlines took big hits in the past week. AMTD, Ameritrade, also down over 6% there on Ameritrade. ETFC slowing down. E-Trade Financial down 11% for the week. A lot of the banks got hit. Goldman Sachs down almost 8%. Bank America taking a hit, 9%. Citigroup down over 10% for the week. JP Morgan, as the banks let us down this week, down 6% there. Retailers, there was really no place to hide this week. Retailers, TJX down 5%. Macy's got hit this week, down 6%. Walmart took a hit, down 4% this week. The steel stocks also took a hit. U.S. Steel, letter X, down 8%. STLD down 8% for the week. Ford was down this week, 6%. GM also dropping this week, down 6% for the week. OLLI came out with earnings this week. Stock dropped down 23%. Five came out with earnings this week. Another retailer, stock dropped 9% for the week. SNNA, they failed to reach primary endpoints on their phase 2B on SNNA, and this stock dropped 46% for the week. CNAT did not meet its phase 2B endpoints also on CNET. This stock got rocked, down 63% for the week. SUPN, this stock dropped 18% for the week. Met its primary endpoints on phase 3. So it did meet its endpoints, but there were concerns. They're involved in a product for ADHD, but there were concerns within the report, and so this stock dropped 18% for the week. So that's some of your worst stocks for the So some of the stocks I'll have on watch this week, and we'll go through these quickly. First one up is AAU. It is a gold mining stock. If you like to play these under $1 names, this one basing underneath the 200 SMA, hasn't been above the 200 SMA for a while, so AAU is in the right sector right now. If gold continues to move up, you could get a move in this one. AGEN had a nice volume push on Friday. This stock came up to the high on Friday was 268, so AGEN will be on watch. Intraday, 1.6 million shares. Aqua, there was insider purchases on Aqua last week. This stock gave us nice intraday trades in the room. AQUA, 2.4 million shares came into the room. You see it trying to get above and hold above that $10 area. We got as high as that 956 spot. We got as high as 1014 on Friday for AQUA. So this one will be on watch. ASNS also holding up, kind of flagging here right now, holding above the 5 and the 10. We have that the highs from Friday of $4.30. On high on Friday, $4.30. We're down here at $3.49. So we'll let this one set up intraday on that name. BTG, another gold name, trying to come up out of this range here on BTG. Volume on Friday, 7.5 million shares. BTG. CLVS is trying to turn the corner here. 5.8 million shares came into this name on Friday. That'll be on watch. COG is is an oil sector stock. It's holding up okay. Not in love with this chart, but I'm looking at some swing trades. I would say this is a possibility of a swing trade on COG, so I'm watching that one. CRON will be on watch for Monday and the week ahead. Dunkin' Donuts has been holding up okay on Dunkin' Donuts. We're pulling back a little bit. This is kind of on watch for a possible swing trade. For me, it would probably have to get back over the top of this candle here of about at least 73.50 on that one. So that'll be on watch, but Dunkin' Donuts only for possible swing trade, maybe. EYES got some big volume intraday possible trade here. As you know, my service is a day trading and swing trade service. So we'll be watching this eyes for intraday. 1.8 million shares, expanding volume on eyes. HDSN, they had earnings come out last week. We talked about it. So this one will be on watch. It has that $2 area up ahead. 2.3 million shares. HDSN, that'll be on watch. IMDZ, getting up over the 50 SMA here. 1.3 million shares, turning the corner. IMDZ will be on watch. JNUG will be on watch for a possible swing trade, intraday entry on JNUG. Lab D, which is if you go long this, basically you're shorting the IBB and the biotech stocks. All right, XBI, they were very weak on Friday, so Lab D might want to make a continuation move here on that name. So I'll be watching that. Now, I would not do a swing trade on this. This would just be for intraday. MNTA, 8.2 million shares came into this name. Big pop on Friday. This will be on watch. MRNA was an IPO that came out Friday, so we don't have much information on this one. Here's your intraday chart on mRNA. So we popped all the way up to 22.75. It's a biotech name, and we came all the way back down to about 18.50. The IPO price on this was 23. So I'll be watching to see if there's any kind of setup or bounce in this one. MRNS also holding up okay. Not a favorite, but trying to turn back up a little bit. MRNS, a biotech name, not a favorite, but throwing it out there. NBEV holding up underneath that $5 area, so NBEV will be on watch. Maybe a possible swing trade in this name. So NBEV, PAS, PAAS coming up off the bottom. Pan American Silver turning the corner. Possible trade in that one. REZI, 3 million shares came into this name. Recent IPO, starting to turn back up here on REZI, Security and Protection Services. So that'll be on watch. SBOT has been holding up, battling with this 50 SMA. Volume a little bit light on Friday, but I think if it can get up over this $1.20, $1.25 area, we'll see how it sets up on an intraday chart. Starbucks has been holding up okay during this market sell-off here on Starbucks. So keep your eye on Starbucks. It came back down to about the bottom of this flag here. We'll see if they turn it back up on SBUX. SDOW now, if you want to protect your portfolios, when the markets move down, SDOW moves up. When the Dow moves down, SDOW, it's an inverse play. So keep an eye on this inverse play. Another one is the SPXU. All right, that's another inverse TZA. All right, and this is the inverse for the IWM. As the IWM moves down, all right, the TZA will move up. The TNA is if you wanted to get long on the IWM. As you can see, it's very weak at the moment, and the inverse is very strong. When the IWM moves down, TZA moves up. As far as volatility intraday, keep your eye on TIVX here. All right, for intraday play only, TVIX. If the market starts to sell off, usually you get a push up in TVIX. Twitter will be on watch again this week. TWTR, it's been holding up, got a little bit rejected here by the top of this Bollinger Band, and when it got up over the 200 SMA, and then the weakness in the markets took it back down. So Twitter will be on watch. UXIN had a big, nice pop and move the last couple of days. We'll see if there's anything else left in the tank here. 9.5 million shares, UXIN. VIRT, VIRT, VIRT Financials holding up all right. Has this $26 area up ahead. It's been trying to get through. It's still below the 200 SMA on VIRT. So this one is on watch. Maybe a possible swing trade in that name. VVUS, big expanding volume came into this name on Friday. It's been trending down. Back in September, they did a 1-for-10 reverse split. The stock has been grinding down. A big pop came into this name on Friday, and that big expanding volume. So this one will be on watch for tomorrow, and I guess for the week ahead. Each night I do a video, so I'll be doing another video on Monday for Tuesday. Stocks to watch. This is your stocks to watch list for Monday, and this is your let's get ready for the week ahead. I hope you're more ready for the week ahead than you were before. And everybody have a good day trading on Monday, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.